What is up, guys? This is Jared Spalding here, and today I'm actually going to be talking about something that I did promise you guys before. I promised it 2 days ago, I believe, when I did, or was it 3? Yeah, it might have been 3 days ago when I did yeah, it was 3. It was on, I believe, yeah, Sunday, definitely. My video, how to tell if your coin is valuable, and I promised in it that I would cover another topic, in this more specific, coin collecting, rarity versus age, because I want to explain something. People commonly think just because a coin's old, it's automatically valuable. Well, that it is, my friend, a very big misconception if you do believe that, and I can't blame you because there's plenty of people out there who think, oh yeah, this coin's old, especially little kids who don't really quite put everything into perspective yet of just what, obviously most little kids aren't going to be coin collectors anyway. I myself started pretty young when I was I believe 9 was when I started kind of collecting silver and becoming interested in it because my dad sent me a peace dollar that year, and he's the one that got me into it and everything. And of course, both my parents have been very supportive of it. It's a pretty, I think, life-advancing hobby, I would say, for anyone who does it out there. But anyway, most people aren't going to start very young, so little kids especially might not understand with coin collecting. I remember when I was pretty young, actually, I'll give a little anecdote here for you. My cousin had said that she had seen a penny or something that was from the year I think 1919, which now I know is a really common wheat penny year. And I was oh my god, it's completely insane. I was a little kid at the time, so I thought that coin must be worth $1,000 or something. I didn't understand at the time that really wheat pennies aren't worth too much. Especially 1919 is a really common year, but at the time I thought, wow, that's insane, how could you have found a penny that old, that must be worth, like I said, I thought it was worth a lot of money or something, and really not. And then later on I realized that, and I remember thinking back when I think it was pretty funny. But anyway, people do kind of confuse them. Maybe they won't exaggerate it that much, most people would understand wheat pennies aren't worth too much. But a lot of people do fall into the trap of thinking that old coins are, always going to be valuable. And sure, they do kind of go together because age can bring on rarity, but the coin has to be rare. And let me bring up a pretty decent example for you here. I know I'm showing bullion, that's just my background I like to use right now. But let me bring up an example here for two coins, and their age difference isn't too much, but the value difference is, and there's a good little story to tell. So these two coins right here I got for you. You got, first of all, this 1801 Spanish coin and this 1832 bust half. Now there is a condition difference also. I think the bust half is a lot nicer. This coin's got some decent detail, but the back's really where this coin shines. This thing is, I think, a beauty overall, especially in the front. So the condition's a little bit of a maybe a determining factor. Well, obviously a huge determining factor, but in this that might be something that sways it. But this coin is 31 years older than this coin, right? Anyone who can do math knows that. Pretty simple, but yeah, this coin is worth, $80 more. This one's maybe worth $50, and this one's worth $130, There's a huge difference between the two in terms of value. And like I said, condition's kind of something here to factor in also. But this is a really great example of rarity over age, because they're from completely different countries, Spain versus United States. So, that's really what you have to look at, because if you know anything about history, you'll know Spain's been around for thousands of years, while the U.S. has only been, officially a country since 1776, and I believe that is when they started producing coinage as well. The Coinage Act, or Minting Act, I'm not even sure the name, I'm sorry. I probably have to refresh my memory on that if anyone knows the exact name of it. But, basically in 1776 they started producing coinage. Spain had been producing coinage for thousands of years. So this, in terms, of this coin's technically for its own country older, and a lot closer to the beginning. This coin, is maybe 70 years off, a little bit less than 70 years off the beginning time, while this coin is, a couple thousand years ahead of coinage being produced. So definitely a good example there, because this coin, even though it's a little bit newer, it's a lot rarer because it's a lot more, a lot older in of itself for its own country, especially by percentage of, if you like compared when the coin was made to the present day, that one was made really towards the beginning of the coinage life cycle, while the Spanish coin was made towards the end, technically, if you compare it to today. So I think that was a pretty decent example there, just for you if you're not exactly sure what I'm talking about. But and a really big example is those Roman coins you always see people selling online, right? It'll be like a $10 coin or something like that, and you might think, how can a 2,000-year-old coin go for $10? Well, the very simple explanation is that especially in Rome, we really did see some, well, not we, but there really was some huge inflation going on in there, and that was a huge problem at the time. They were producing coinage, like it was like, the more coinage they produced, it actually meant that they were going to have more monies, but they basically were thinking. So they were just thinking, oh, we'll just produce more and more. And so those coins, even though they're way older and they've had more stuff, over time to happen to them, like getting melted down. First of all, being made of something that's not even valuable, because they're all made of like bronze, really helps them out, because they're not even worth melting down. But for two, these coins, they're pretty common, because there's so many of them made that even to today, even if 10 times as many of them were destroyed as were, let's say that, let's go with that 1832 half dollar. The problem is that there's still way more than 10 times more of those things made. I mean, you're talking about, mintage in probably the tens or even hundreds of millions for those things, as opposed to that coin. I'm not exactly sure the exact mintage of an 1832 half dollar. I'm sorry, but first of all, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure the half dollar actually started in 1794, and I am sorry about that. But the mintage on the coin was 4,797,000, which might seem like a lot, and in terms of certain coins it is. But those Roman coins show about hundreds of millions, so they are, even though they're older, they're less rare. And really, age, like I said, can help out rarity, but it is in the end rarity that makes the coin value. So please never fall into the trap of thinking that just because a coin is old, it's going to be valuable, because that's really not going to be the case. And even with anything that's silver at all, this is going to be still worth a lot more than almost any old mercury dime, because in this case, rather than it being rarity, you just got sheer, silver value. And that's another thing that can, influence it, is the, whatever the metals are inside it are worth. Like, I mean, this isn't a coin, but something of numismatic value, even like, 1 kilo numismatic bullion piece is still going to be worth more in metal than, something like even that 1832 half dollar right there. It's not going to be worth nearly as much in terms of metals. And that's another thing I can determine. Even if a coin's old, and even if it's rare, silver is always going to beat it, because you can just keep on throwing more and more silver on to a coin and make it bigger and bigger, which is another thing. I mean, obviously, most people understand more silver, you have the more value, but most coins aren't going to be worth as much as, if you just were to take as much silver as you could and put it together. So that probably, no one's probably falling into that. Just something I wanted to also talk about real fast, that even newer stuff can be worth something if you make it, but it's the whole rarity thing that is kind of hard to achieve, and you have to kind of, be well known within the community to even make pieces that are going to be rare, but anyone can melt silver if they know how and sell it. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I know, I'm sorry, I'm still kind of getting used to having the video like this, not holding the camera and stuff, so I am sorry about that. But anyway, that is it for this one. Peace, love, and much respect.